The Emperor's New Clothes, retold by Diane Stortz. Many years ago, in a faraway land, there ruled an emperor who loved clothes. He had a different outfit for every hour of every day. He never left his dressing room except to ride through the kingdom in his carriage to show off his clothes. Tailors and seamstresses came from all over the world to show the king the latest colours and designs. One day, 2 tricksters came to the palace. They said they were weavers. "Dear Emperor," they said, "we have come to tell you about the most fantastic fabric in the world. It is fine, light and beautiful, and people who are stupid or unfit for their jobs cannot see it. Just think, if you had clothes made of this special fabric, you would discover which men in the kingdom are unfit for their offices. You would be able to tell the fools from the wise." "Oh, quite right," said the emperor, and he paid the 2 tricksters a lot of money in advance to make him a beautiful suit of this wonderful cloth. The tricksters asked for spools of silk and pure gold thread. They set up 2 looms in an empty shop in the middle of the kingdom. The spools of silk and pure gold thread went into the trickster's bag, not on the looms. Then the 2 sat in their empty looms and pretended to weave long into the night. The next day the emperor wanted to see the cloth, but he was a tiny bit afraid that he might be unfit for his position, and if it were true, he did not want anyone to know it. So instead of going to the weaver's shop himself, the emperor sent his most trusted advisor. The advisor could see nothing, of course, since there wasn't anything to see. "Dear me," the advisor said to himself, "does this mean I am a fool? I cannot tell the emperor that I cannot see the cloth." So he went back to the emperor and reported that the cloth was indeed beautiful. The emperor soon sent another of his faithful officers to see the weaver's cloth. Of course, that man could see nothing either, but he did not want to admit this to anyone. "How can it be that I am a fool?" he wondered. So he assured the weavers that the cloth was lovely, and he told the emperor that his new clothes were going to be splendid. The emperor decided that he wanted to see this magnificent fabric while it was still on the loom. So he called the royal court to go with him to the weaver's shop. The tricksters were working away as hard as ever at their empty looms when the emperor and the royal court arrived. The weavers showed the emperor the invisible fabric. The emperor looked at the weavers and then at the members of the royal court. "The fabric is marvellous, Your Majesty," they all began to say. "Quite amazing! Splendid! What design! What colours!" The emperor was dismayed. "Can they all see what I cannot see?" he thought. "Am I unfit for my position? Am I a fool? I must not let anyone know." Then he pretended to feel the fine fabric and admire its colours and patterns along with everyone else. The tricksters promised to complete the emperor's new suit by morning. "Why not have a progression and let all your subjects see your wonderful new clothes?" they suggested. The emperor agreed. That night, the tricksters burned 16 candles while they sat up and pretended to cut and sew the invisible cloth. In the morning, they took the invisible clothes to the palace. "Here is your coat," they said, pretending to hold something to be seen. These are the trousers, and this is the shirt. The emperor undressed and put on the new clothes. At least he pretended to put them on. How well the emperor looks in his new clothes, said the members of the royal court, for no one was willing to admit that they could not see a thing. The progression began. The emperor chamberlains walked behind him, pretending to hold up a long train of his coat. All the people in the kingdom stood along the roads to see the emperor and his new clothes. How beautiful the emperor's clothes are, said the people in the progression as the progression passed by. What a wonderful fit! How elegant! None of them wanted to be fooled either. The two tricksters laughed all the way out of town with their bag full of silk and golden thread and the money the king had paid for his new clothes. The progression continued. Then one little child pulled on his father's coat and said, "But, Papa, the emperor has nothing on." "Nothing on?" repeated the boy's father. "The emperor has nothing on." All the people cried at last. The emperor knew it was true, but the parade continued through the town and back to the palace. What else could he do? He certainly did not want to admit that he had been a fool.